Hello, dear viewers. Welcome back to Let's Play Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. I really liked the name Mnemnic. I just thought it was really cool. So I decided to record another series of videos with, uh, hopefully more success than the last time. The last video with Mnemnic forefather, also named Mnemnic was a high elf wizard that I had worship Chabriados and wield a long sword, and it was kind of cool, but we didn't get any spells. We only found one spell book in the first 9 levels of the dungeon, and it was a terrible spell book. It was the Book of Battle, which I believe is being completely removed in the next patch, as are all of the basically worthless weapon enchantment spells. Uh, there are sort of a series of spells that uh, enchant a completely non-branded weapon. Like artifacts don't work. Anything with of flaming, of slicing, of etc. doesn't work on those. It just enchants it with fire or frost or something. And they're really bad because you always want to be using a weapon with a brand. Why would you ever rely on... Oh, that's good. Dagger of Venom. I think our short blades... Yeah, we have a good aptitude for short blades. So we could go kind of a stabby route, perhaps. Crank up our stealth a little bit. I have a really cool stabby character that's gotten relatively far, but I haven't played him in quite some time. So with wizards, I always memorize at level 2 repel missiles and blink sometimes. Other times I don't memorize blink, and instead at level 3 I memorize both conjure flame and mephitic cloud. I think this time I am not going to memorize blink and just go straight for the double offense. I really like having both of those available, and since we did find a good dagger right off, I'm not as concerned about having to get away when things reach us in melee. I think that we can handle pretty much anything on dungeon level 1, and dungeon level 2, unless we get something out of the ordinary, we should be fine there as well, even if we have to, just melee attack stuff down like that. Like, we'll be injured, and we can't take on more than one thing at once in melee, but we ought to be fine, generally. One thing I often sort of forget, it's very easy to see these positive aptitudes and negative aptitudes for things and think, oh, well, I'm a high elf, so my short blades are already, my short blades are better than other things. And I shouldn't ever use unarmed combat. But really, they're both at skill level 0. The aptitude doesn't matter, only the number of points that you have in the skill. So each is equally good or bad at this point in the game. So any kind of literally any good weapon you find, you should pick up and use as a caster character, as a class, as a background that doesn't start with a weapon. Just the very first one you find that's worth anything. Pick it up, use it. There's no reason not to. It's going to be better than unarmed combat with 0 skill points in it. Unarmed combat is a very slow curve. Slow, steady curve that eventually peaks at like level 25, I think. Whereas most... oh dear. Jekylls. We should be okay. This Dagger of Venom should do really good work against anything living and not too strong. Okay, so here... I guess we have a choice to make here. Do I want this to be a Chabriados follower or not? I kind of want it to be because I really love that intelligence boost. Plus 15 intelligence, and having plus 15 to your strength and dexterity is no laughing matter, no slouch, no joke. Not sure what it isn't anything of, but I mean, we would have strength 21, dexterity 28, which would be enough to just shred through most enemies if we were using any kind of weapon. And lately I've been trying to shoot for characters that can go through the extended endgame. I had a demon spawn that got very far in that I pushed myself a little hard in a ziggurat and met an unfortunate end. But it was still a very successful run, 8 runes. But I had a lot of problem with the hells, and I had a lot of problems with. Well, I couldn't use any holy weapons. Anyway, I digress. The question is, if we follow Chabriados, we don't have to worry about putting points into strength. If we don't follow Chabriados, we really need to put a couple of points into strength first, just for carrying capacity and to have our stat over 7. There are points throughout the game where things can drain you for up to 7 of a stat in one shot, and you don't want to, be paralyzed because you have 0 strength. So we would have to put 2 points into strength at minimum. I'm going to give Chabriados another shot. I really like the power of the Snail God. It's going to be tough. Like, it's most players consider following Chabriados to be commensurate with a challenge run. And it's certainly not the easiest thing in the world. Oh dear. I should have memorized some spells already. We want Conjure Flame. Oh, well, I guess we have to wait to stop being poisoned. Gross, we're poisoned. Yes, let's memorize that, and memorize Mephitic Cloud, and yeah, there we go. The way it works out generally with wizards, although I think maybe it's different with deep elves, your starting spellcasting and intelligence are such that your starting spellcasting is level 3, which means that at character level 3 you can have these 4 spells memorized exactly without putting any additional points into spellcasting. I don't like to train spellcasting up too early. Your Magic Dart is already hungerless, and that's the only spell that you're going to be casting with any regularity this early on. And by the time you need to put a couple of points into spellcasting for heavy Mephitic Cloud and Conjure Flame use, you've generally gained a couple of character levels anyway, and so you can memorize Blink. Blink is a useful getaway tool, but only if you have enough mana to cast it several times repeatedly. Because it's very, very unreliable. It just teleports you at random to any visible space. I believe at higher spell powers, this robe is cooler looking. I am a little picky about my robes. Most other forms of armor, I don't think that there's a graphical difference. Maybe a few of them. Oh dear. Well, crazy Yoof. We're gonna try to Mephitic Cloud him. Okay, good. And then just melee him down. Alright. So this is good. We acquired his Quarterstaff of Chaos. Yeah, it's usually a very highly enchanted Quarterstaff of Chaos, which is a good, strong weapon for the early game. This dagger might be better. 6 damage versus, oh my, 14. Yeah, no. The dagger is not better. Venom is very nice against critters in the lair and such, but an 8-point damage swing that's significant. And our stave skill is not abysmal. If we choose to train it up at some point. Basically, what I planned for this character... Oh, shucks, we do have to find a scroll of remove curse. We can't try on this robe until we get rid of our cloak. Oh. It lets us do that now. Interesting. It used to be that if you had on a cursed cloak, you could not change your armor, but apparently now it is possible. Hooray! And that's quite nice. +2 robe. I mean, even if it was just a base +2 robe, it would be good for us. The fact that it's resist negative energy isn't quite as nice as, say, resist fire or resist poison, although I'm not even sure robes can have... Yeah, robes can have resist poison. Or, like, Arc Magi would be insane, although virtually impossible that we would find it on dungeon level 2. Sound of rushing water. There's a sewer on this layer. Ooh, a curved smoking staff. Interesting. Well, let's start zapping things here. Not really concerned by any of those. What does this do? A staff of earth. That's kind of a shame, because we're not particularly good at earth. We have a -2 penalty, and so I really would prefer to go air. Oh, a drain nearby. Perhaps that's why there were those critters all over. I kind of want to get into those sewers. So that I can... Ah, there they are. If you see water and you're near the sewers, it's a good bet that it's the entrance. Oh, this is actually pretty dangerous for us. We can't back up with any ease. Okay, yeah, now we're fine. This worm we can just walk away from. Just walk away, man, walk away. Wow, this is a pretty tricky entrance, actually. Fortunately, we discovered it very early, so... had to avoid the steam there with our last flame cloud. This we can just attack. It's good that we found it early so that we could get to it before it... Oh, we hasted the gecko by accident with our Staff of Chaos. When we start worshipping Chabriados, we will want to get rid of this Staff of Chaos, no matter how useful it might be for us, because it will do us more harm than good. If it accidentally hastes something, we will be held responsible. If you accidentally haste something with an unknown item, Chabriados will prevent it and forgive you. If you accidentally haste something with a quarterstaff of a weapon of chaos or a wand of random effects, there is no such forgiveness. You were reckless, to use a legal definition. You knew or should have known that it was reasonably certain that eventually something would be hasted by it. And Chabriados does not forgive reckless disregard. Our conjuration skill is getting there. These things are still fairly low power because they're multi-school. That is another one of the weaknesses of the wizard. It has several weaknesses, but I generally like it the best of the spellcaster backgrounds. A Livalon. I don't want to worship a Livalon. I don't. A Livalon is a very interesting choice if you go with a Deep Dwarf that doesn't heal naturally, because a Livalon's healing will work quite well on you. I guess we got some potions out of it. That wasn't the most exciting sewers that I've ever been to, but, you know, fine. It wasn't deadly, which I'm quite happy with. That's general. The sewers is usually doable by the time you find it. You don't have to delay doing the sewers because it shows up on dungeon level 3. It may be dungeon level 2, but I've never seen the sewers appear that early. I don't believe. Or if I have, I didn't get there in time. I don't know. We're just going to melee most things down because we do such crazy damage with our staff. And yes, there's a chance that we will haste or heal our enemies, but it's generally worth it, since we can step away from most things, or blink away and Mephitic Cloud them, and yikes. Crocodiles are really dangerous. Worms are very bad to polymorph because they have a much higher hit dice, many more hit dice than other monsters that you would find at that level. Like that crocodile you would normally find in the lair, not on Dungeon 3. But I think we can kill it still. Yeah, there we go. And it was a good experience boost, although I'm not sure, to be honest, if experience is calculated directly from hit dice or if it's calculated by monster. All right, we're going to keep putting points into intelligence. The reason why I don't know if I ever concluded that long rant about stats earlier. The reason why we want to put points into intelligence if we have a plus 15 bonus to all stats is that intelligence continues to scale indefinitely, basically. I'm sure that there's a cap at some point, but it takes a massively long time to reach. Like, having 50 intelligence is not bad. Um, it takes a really long time to fully max out the spell power of the late game spells. So while plus 15 to strength and dexterity will make our strength and dexterity as high as we would ever need them to be, essentially, unless we wanted to wear, like, to abandon spellcasting completely and wear crystal plate armor. That would be the only time that we would need more than 21 strength that I can think of. And we're certainly not planning on doing that. That would be very silly. Not impossible, but very silly. Anyway, yeah, so having intelligence of 38, I guess, would be our plus 15 intelligence right now, is still not as high as we want it to be eventually. We want it to be near 50, if we can wrangle it. A wand. What is it? Wand of Enslavement. Not my favorite. Not the worst. Wand of Polymorph is... Oh, well, Wand of Random Effects is the worst wand. By far. It's not only inconsistent, it's not always beneficial. It's like a Quarterstaff of Chaos without the damage. In other words, not worth it. But yeah, I really don't like Polymorph. It's, again, very inconsistent. We're not going to die from this poison, fortunately, but I wanted to make it up the stairs. That is a really, really, really nice feature of... I don't know if it was 0.13 or 0.14, but one of the more recent... Huh. That was a cool little chaos effect. It turned into a zombie that was our friend. Be more convenient if we hadn't already cleared that level, but whatever. If we ever go back, we will... we definitely want to confuse this priest. Orc priests are easier as a caster than as most melee classes, just because you can shoot them down before you have to close with them. They can't use meat shields quite as readily, although it still can be an issue. This may be a mimic. Ooh, yikes. Yeah. Killing giant eyeballs is generally priority number one in nearly any situation because they have an irresistible paralyze effect. Assorted antiques. Well, isn't this interesting? Yeah. Oh, 25 is gold dragon armor. I guess it's 27 or 28 for crystal plate. Well, we're never going to wear that. And it's unlikely that we're going to want an artifact halberd. I won't rule it out. If we have some extra cash lying around, we could buy it. But I do want to buy this potion. A glowing green potion, eh? And that leather-bound book we will also pick up at some point. Glowing green potion. We have 3 of them. Well, that doesn't tell me a lot, considering that we bought the last one from the store. If we had found 3 of them, like these 3, there's a very good chance that curing is amongst them. There's a pretty good chance that heal wounds is among them, although a lesser chance. But it's also possible that they're poison or degeneration or cure mutation or whatever. I don't know. We don't have enough scrolls yet to really speculate on which is identify and which is not. I really did like the prior Mnemnic vase setup with the artifact longsword that we had. That was really cool. It was a +9, +6 longsword of freezing with +1 dexterity and +2 intelligence. It was super strong. But we just didn't find any spells for far too long. Or any useful spells, I suppose. That can really make a breaker caster. It's why a lot of people choose to go. Interestingly, if you put a column of flame over a scroll, it doesn't set it on fire. It's why a lot of casters choose to go with either Sif Muna or Vehumet. Vehumet being sort of the quick and dirty, only granting you access to destructive magics, mostly conjurations. But eventually giving you access to, like Tornado and Glaciate and stuff like that. Firestorm. Ijib is not a super strong unique. Oh dear. I really want to get that Centaur confused, before it does something like that. This is tough. Oh, we could die here. Yep. Well, that's another caster down the drain. This is one of the many reasons why I don't generally record casters from the very beginning, because these early few levels, like that, we probably could have escaped if we'd just backed off right away, but the Centaur could have followed us, and we would have had to blink, and maybe, I don't know. We had outs. Yeah, so we had agility, cure wounds, or heal wounds, and restore abilities. Alright, well, thanks for watching, dear viewers. I did want to give you at least a video of an early caster. And if you really want, you can pretend that this Mnemnic Bay survived and became the next Mnemnic Bay in the next video and acquired those weapons later. We can do it out of chronological order. Maybe I'll make another Mnemnic Bay and see if I can't level him up to about where the last Mnemnic Bay died, and we can just have sort of a Star Wars trilogy of weird chronological. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching, dear viewers, and I will see you next time.